Social anxiety coach. A really common question that people search for is whether social anxiety can be cured. And when answering this question, I think it's important to first define what is actually meant by cured. Because I would say that I've cured my own social anxiety. And I've cured social anxiety in several clients. But what does this mean? Does this mean getting to a stage where you have no fear around people? You're in this euphoric state 24/7 and you're like Shakespeare on stage. Of course, this is unrealistic. We're all going to have good days and bad days. Our mood fluctuates. And it's normal to have fear around people. It's healthy. But when I say that I've cured my social anxiety, what I mean is it's no longer a problem for me. The intensity of my anxiety has reduced massively over the years. So if you go back to the version of me in high school, my anxiety levels were to the ceiling. They were so high. I felt terrified of people, totally closed off, and I isolated myself because I was afraid of people. I used to have this anxiety in my chest and stomach, neck, cheeks. I would get tension headaches as well. And the highest anxiety I've had, the experience was so intense for me personally that I struggled to follow shows on TV because I couldn't ignore what my body was telling me. It was shouting too loudly, begging to be heard. So I used to have really high levels of social anxiety. And I could go days without saying more than one or two words. I wasn't just on the quiet side. I was always by far the most quiet person that I knew and would never speak in a social group at all. A little bit like Raj from the Big Bang Theory. He freezes up around women. I would freeze up around all people. I'd feel like I was going to faint at times. So I used to have super intense, a super intense experience. And now I have normal levels of healthy fears around people. But it doesn't cripple me, doesn't hold me back. And if you saw me back in those times, or up until the age of 24, let's say, 25, you would think this guy is really shy, really quiet, and isn't confident in himself. If you saw me at a networking event, that's what you would see. And that's what you would think. But if you saw me now, or any time in the last 3 years, you would think this guy's confident. So what's changed is that the intensity of social anxiety has gone right down. Like if I had a remote control, like a TV remote control, the volume has been turned down massively. So there's still some social anxiety there, as there is in every person, but the levels are much reduced. And also, I'm a lot more confident. We all have great social skills. And when you develop confidence in yourself, you learn to be yourself, you unlock these social skills which you've always had. So if you saw me when I was younger, you might have thought that this person has poor social skills. But if you saw me at one of my events, some sort of networking situation, you might think that, wow, this guy has really good social skills. And social skills, they're you learn them a little bit to some extent, but they're inbuilt. So socializing itself, connecting with people, is around 80% emotional and 20% logical. Somewhere in this ballpark. And when you have fear controlling you and you're not truly accepting how you feel right now, you're losing touch to your own emotions and you're trapped in your head. You're out of the loop. You're not really present in the room. Your social anxiety is distracting you from the conversation, and it's making it appear to others like you have worse social skills than you actually do. But if you was in the same situation and you was relaxed, just like you probably are when you're around people that you're already comfortable with, people that you feel you can just openly speak to. If you felt like that, your social skills would be really good. So, how do you overcome social anxiety? The first fundamental is to be yourself. Honesty with people. There's no way you can develop true self confidence in yourself if you're not being yourself. Because when someone's not being themselves, there's always a reason why. They feel that they're not good enough as they are, so they have to pretend to be someone else. But this just hurts themselves. It's the ultimate self insult to not be yourself. Because you're communicating through your actions that you don't believe that you're good enough. So you need to manipulate. But if instead you choose to be yourself, through your actions, that behavior of really being who you are, not hiding anything, that behavior supports the belief that you're already enough. So usually when people are on this journey overcoming social anxiety and they're doing it right, they're being themselves, they get more confident over time. And probably there's a very good reason why you have social anxiety. It's not your fault, but how you handle it is your responsibility. What you do from here on out, that is on you. It might go back to your upbringing around your parents. You might not have felt able to be yourself and really connect. You might not have felt supported and believed in. Might be experiences with other family members, people at school, work colleagues, so many reasons. The positive side of having social anxiety and having reasons why is that you're not naive. You know that there's some wolves out there. There's a lot of good people, for sure, but there's some wolves as well. And it's good to know that. It's good to not be naive. But there's no point hiding away because there's some difficult people. When there's so many good people that you could get on with, have a great time with. And also the pain of being isolated and not connecting with people is so much worse. It's so much better to face that fear and be out there going for it than not going for it. So the first fundamental is to be yourself. And what really helps is getting away from people who don't truly believe in you, don't listen to you properly, don't value what you have to say. Getting away from those people and proactively putting yourself in social groups, communities, environments where you feel able to freely express yourself. So getting away from people that aren't right for you and getting around good people that believe in you. This really helps reduce social anxiety. Because when you're being yourself, you're going to have a positive experience. And you're going to get that proof that that you're safe to open up around other people. Social anxiety is where you have a fear of connecting with people. And because of this fear, you're closed off from other people. You might have closed off body language. You might completely isolate. You might never speak to people, even when you're in a group. You might avoid eye contact. So the opposite of being closed off is being open. It requires a lot of bravery and courage to be vulnerable enough to really connect with people. It's not an easy thing to do. But what I've learned is that it's like a muscle, and the more you practice it, the easier it gets. So when you're getting around these good people, for example, maybe you find some communities that have similar interests to you. You could try the website meetup.com and look for social events going on in your area. When you've found these communities and you're being yourself, you're practicing honesty. That's going to help you get more confident in yourself. And as you're building more self-confidence, you can work on your boundaries with people. And this is really helpful. Not an easy thing to work on, but it's so helpful because what a lot of people with social anxiety are afraid of is opening up with people and then being hurt. having someone take advantage of them, belittle them, not make them feel good. And when you practice boundaries, you have really good boundaries, you don't need to worry about that. Maybe you're afraid of physical confrontation. You're afraid of someone behaving in an intimidating way towards you. And you don't know how you would handle that. But when you know that, antisocial behavior, intimidation, threats, violence is a criminal behavior, you can say to somebody that is trying to intimidate you that if they carry on, you'll call the police immediately, you'll report them. You have rights, you have ways to protect yourself. Knowing how to protect yourself in the situations where it's the best thing to do, this can give you a lot more confidence. And in my journey overcoming my social anxiety, boundaries were one of the hardest things for me to work on and develop because it was like an alien language to me. Something that I didn't know growing up, but learned later in life. And it's great when you learn how to be kind to yourself and kind to other people and get that balance right. Very, very freeing and liberating. Another effective strategy for reducing social anxiety is joining a gym and doing cardio on a regular basis. So simple. Goes hand in hand with anxiety, the discipline of exercising, the endorphins that you get from the cardio, and it makes a huge difference. To date, I've never coached somebody who hasn't benefited from doing cardiovascular exercise. For example, running. Never met someone yet that hasn't felt more confident for getting themselves fit and healthy and exercising on a regular basis. Anything that makes you feel better in yourself is going to make you feel more confident around people. Another really effective thing to work on, a strategy. I don't really like the word strategy, but I'll use it in this case, is listening. So underrated and so valuable, especially for becoming more confident with people. Something that my clients tell me on a regular basis is that they really feel heard and listened to. And they say that I'm the best listener. So the great thing with listening is that it stops you getting stuck in your head. You don't have the luxury of being able to think ahead in the conversation and think what to say next. Rather than getting the gist of what someone's saying, thinking what to say next, and keeping that question in your mind. Instead, you listen to what someone else says, let it land, process it, and then respond. And when you have conversations in this way, it's so much easier to connect with people. You're less focused on your own social anxiety because you're listening to the other person. It keeps you present as well. So you can't drift away in thoughts. You can't go into the future. And because the other person feels listened to, they're going to repay the favor and listen to you. And it requires a lot of courage to listen. This means that you're fully open to hearing what the other person's saying. It also means that you trust yourself to speak from the heart in the moment, to improvise and be yourself, rather than not trusting yourself and trying to give yourself some kind of head start, thinking ahead. So listening is a great way to reduce social anxiety. And something that people always search is how to get more confident speaking to people. There's a huge focus on talking and speaking. But so many people are afraid of listening. So focusing on genuinely listening leads to a lot of progress in your conversational ability. It leads to progress in your social skills, your confidence with people. It makes a big difference. It's also helpful to know that because we all experience a wide range of emotional states, overcoming social anxiety is not about hiding away when you're in a bad mood and only going out when you feel good. It's about being able to connect with people regardless of how you feel. To not reject yourself, abandon yourself because of how you're feeling, but to have the confidence in your ability to talk with emotions and connect to other people in a way in which is independent of your emotional state. If you feel sad, it's okay to be sad. You can still speak to somebody when you're feeling sad. And when you truly speak with emotions, other people generally feel good. You're giving them permission to do the same. And every person, goes through these different emotional states. It's part of the human experience. You don't need to deny it, block it. There's nothing wrong with it. So being okay with how you feel and not letting that stop you from speaking and listening and connecting with others. This also helps out with someone with overcoming social anxiety. And when you build the right habits and you keep them up on a long-term basis, that's when you're going to make the biggest changes. Three months is all you need to significantly reduce social anxiety if you're on the right path and you follow the advice that I've put in the description box below this video. And to completely transform yourself as a person and transform your life, you're looking at 6 months to 2 years of hard work. And you might think that that's quite a bit of time, but to truly change your life, I think it's a short amount of time. In 6 months to 2 years from now, you could be super confident in yourself, feel different, speak different, and your life could look completely different. And when you get confident in one area of life, the confidence often bleeds over to other areas. After I received coaching, excuse my cough, and overcame my social anxiety, I decided to become an entrepreneur, escape the 9 to 5 matrix, and build my own coaching business, which is something that I've successfully done. Me overcoming social anxiety, this gave me the confidence to pursue the career change. So everything's linked. And progress in one area of life leads to progress in others. And this is why I encourage my clients to really take their health and fitness journey seriously, because I know that that's going to bleed over into other areas of life and make a big impact. Because everything affects everything, and wherever you go, there you are. If you're interested in being coached, being helped and supported in 2025, you want to overcome social anxiety, build more confidence with people, perhaps you want to find a relationship, perhaps you want to get in shape, and you've learned to appreciate that having help and support makes things easier, drop me an email and I can coach you. Or alternatively, drop me an email and I'll send you a link to my events that are going on in Birmingham. You can come down, join us, meet the group, and work on your confidence. Until next time, Happy New Year and enjoy the rest of your day.